For 30 years, until he retired, my husband stood each fall in front of his sophomore genetics class and passed out copies of Gregor Mendel's famous paper on the hybridization of edible peas. This paper was a model of clarity, Richard told his students. It represented everything that science should be. Richard paced in front of the chalkboard, speaking easily and without notes. Like the minor evolutionist Robert Chambers, he had been born hexadactylic. He was sensitive about his left hand, which was somewhat scarred from the childhood operation that had removed his extra finger, and so, although Richard gestured freely, he used only his right hand and kept his left in his pocket. From the back of the room where I sat when I came each fall to hear him lecture, I could watch the students listen to him. After he passed out the paper, Richard told the students his first, conventional version of Gregor Mendel's life. Mendel, he said, grew up in a tiny village in the northwestern corner of Moravia, which was then a part of the Habsburg Empire, and later became part of Czechoslovakia. When he was 21, poor and desperate for further education, he entered the Augustinian monastery in the capital city of Brünn, which is now called Brno. He studied science and later taught at a local high school. In 1856, at the age of 34, he began his experiments in the hybridization of the edible pea. For his laboratory, he used a little strip of garden adjoining the monastery wall. Over the next 8 years, Mendel performed hundreds of experiments on thousands of plants, tracing the ways in which characteristics were passed through generations. Tall and short plants with white or violet flowers, peas that were wrinkled or smooth, pods that were arched or constricted around the seeds. He kept meticulous records of his hybridizations in order to write the paper the students now held in their hands. On a clear, cold evening in 1865, he read the first part of this paper to his fellow members of the Brünn Society for the Study of Natural Science. About 40 men were present, a few professional scientists and many serious amateurs. Mendel read to them for an hour, describing his experiments and demonstrating the invariable ratios with which traits appeared in his hybrids. A month later, at the Society's next meeting, he presented the theory he'd formulated to account for his results. "Right there," my husband said, "right in that small, crowded room, the science of genetics was born." Mendel knew nothing of genes or chromosomes or DNA, but he'd discovered the principles that made the search for those things possible.